after months of work, countless amounts of money spent, tons of waiting, busted knuckles, tears, and all other kinds of horrible setbacks, I would like to present to you the finished product. Well, it's not the finished product, but the tractor itself is done. I'm not really worried about the rear wheels right now. I'm going to clean up and paint up a good set of rollers, sort of like these fronts here. They're just to kind of roll it around when the tanks aren't on it. As you can see, I've only got three lugs in there, and I ground down the studs so that you can take them out just like bolts, because the bolts for the tanks are going to have to go in from the back side of the hub. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and check. I'm not sure what exactly I filmed last time. I know the last time I filmed, I said next time you see it, it'll be running, and I believe we are at that point. I have not started it yet. I just got done dumping the coolant in it and putting motor oil in it. This is the end product pretty much. Dash pretty much completely set up. These two switches over here for the headlights and running lights aren't wired up, but the ignition one down there is wired up. Played with my hydraulics a little bit. If you set the lever here and rock the PTO shaft, you can see they're pumping up. So I know the hydraulic pump is working like it should. But yeah, it's done pretty much. We'll crack the gas on. And I like to walk around and just check the carburetor and make sure it's not leaking or anything. Normally I like to open up the bottom here and just see that they're getting fuel, but it's a brand new carburetor, so I'm fairly confident it's probably getting fuel. Dead battery. Alright, charger's hooked up. Let's give her another shot. We have some adjusting to do, but it runs. So it's about a good week later. The night that I tried filming this thing running for the first time, when I was starting it up, two issues presented themselves right off the bat. You can kind of hear both of them in the video. The fan was hitting the shroud over here on the left side by the exhaust. So that took a little bit of working with to get that to stop. And the other issue that I had was the fan belt, which I had already ordered a new one months ago, just never got around to putting it on. The fan belt just kind of wasn't holding up. You could hear this kind of low, just little intermittent squeak, no matter what RPM the tractor was running at. But anyway, we've got a new belt, and the fan shroud has been fixed. And like I said, this is only about a week later. I haven't really run or used it a lot. I guess you're ready to hear the end result, which I am very, very pleased with. Nice and quiet. Runs super smooth. Charging good. Little poppy. The carburetor is running a little bit on the lean side. I've tried playing with the screws, but it's one of those aftermarket carbs. So I have to leave the choke held out just a little bit, otherwise it gets really sort of doing the exhaust pop. That's not really a big issue. Running lean isn't a problem. Like I say, you can hear the engine, it's running super smooth. Between now and the last time when I was just getting this thing running for the first time, I've switched out the last wheel that came with it. These are both the rear wheels off the parts tractor. I threw this on there because I was moving some stuff around with it. About 2 days ago I did the weigh test, which you'll see coming up here in the next couple of clips. So that's why all the wheels only have the 3 lugs, 3 bolts on them total. Because this is happening after I've already weighed the tractor and I've got all that stuff. So you'll see that coming up here in the next couple of clips. It runs super cool. The temperature gauge barely gets off the 100 line mark there. I have seen it creep just slightly above that, but not by much. So temperature-wise, she's doing really good. She's running more or less on the cold side. Holding all her fluids, no oil leaks, nothing like that. So successful rebuild. But now the question becomes, all right, you've done all this. How do you make it float? So these are going to be my front wheels. More or less right where these little support rings are is where I will cut out and weld the steel rim to this side of the tank, which then will bolt from the reverse side of the front hub. So for the front hubs, you have normally studs that come through for all 6 of these holes. Now I've already driven all 6 of these out, and then I've ground down the original stud a little bit so that it just goes in and out. It's normally pressed into that hub, but these, if you loosen them up, the stud falls right out the back. So what'll happen with these rims for these front tanks, the rim will get, I should have grabbed a rim just to show you for example, but anyway, the rim will get, this will get cut out, the rim gets welded here, the receiving threads or nuts or lug nuts for the rim that's getting welded, this will be welded on the inside, and then you'll have to bolt them from the back, because you won't be able to get to the front wheel studs anymore once these are on. They have not been drained yet. I've got all the valves and everything are broken loose. They're just sitting there. Nothing's impacted in anymore. Turn these things upside down, take all these valves and pressure relieves out, and these are going to need to drain for at least a full week. I might even go 2 weeks. Propane is heavier than air, so if these sit upside down with the bottoms open, the propane should, over the course of a week or 2, just naturally come out the bottom, and then we can begin the process of cutting things off and all that. And like I said, I've already weighed the tractor. That happened a couple days ago, so I know how heavy that tractor is from the front to the rear, from side to side. I even know how heavy each of the tires are, all that good stuff. So now the only thing left to do is to air these out and weigh them and do a couple more calculations and make sure we're good to go. Moving on to the rear wheels. That is a stock, well actually it's not a stock rim, but this is the original tire size. This is an 11.2 by 28 tire. The other tractor I have has 13, I forget what those are, 13 something by 28 turf tires, which are like the biggest tire you can run on these. The 13, let me actually, you know what, we're going to get the other tractor over here for a demonstration. So hold tight. So, like I was saying, these are the 11 2x28s, and these are the 13 6x28. These are about the smallest you can run. There may be a smaller one out there. I don't know why you would want to use it, but this is the smallest, and anything over a 13 6x28 tire is going to be a little much. This tire is exactly 4 feet from top to bottom, 4 feet. This fuel tank over here is also exactly 4 feet across. It doesn't look like it right now because it's sitting up on that stand and it looks like it's a little bit taller, but according to the tape measure, the tire's 4 foot across and the tank is 4 foot across. So the way this would work is that obviously without the tire there, you would have just the wheel center. Not that I'm going to use these wheel centers, but again, like these tanks, you would cut a hole, weld the wheel center, which has your lug pattern. They're probably going to be at least a good 2.5, maybe almost 3 feet out from the center of the wheel. So about a good 2.5, 3 feet this way out. I don't know exactly where I need to cut, but that's in the ballpark, somewhere in that zone. So this tank would get cut right here, and an end would go on, and this end would have the same thing happen to it. I'd cut out for the wheel center and cut here. So this would be one wheel, and from here back would be another wheel. Obviously these holes need to be plugged up once all this stuff comes out of here. I've definitely got a fair amount of grinding and cutting and patching to do it. But I'll have a lot of tank material left over here in the middle, so I can cut things like patches. It's going to have that same curvature to it. This larger piece here, and I cut from here to here, and let's say that's a foot by foot square. I can come over here to all this material that's not getting used and cut out a foot by foot square, and it should weld in very, very nice and clean. So that would be one rear tire, and down there is the other. But there's a lot of work to do between now and then. So once we do a little more calculating, I've still, like I said, I've still got to weigh the tanks. I still don't know how much weight they are going to contribute to this. I know the weight of the tractor entirely. Only thing left now is to weigh the tanks and do a couple more calculations and see what it's going to take to make this thing float. So I just took some video of this tractor running and realized that I completely forgot the most important part of showing off a tractor that's been restored, the test drive. I took and filmed this running and then explained how the tank system is going to work, but completely forgot the test drive, so forgive me for that. I will make up for that now. So you hop on, you pull your ignition, hit the button, the auxiliary is in standard range. As you can see, without even giving it gas, the motor is nice and strong. It doesn't sputter and backfire like it did in the first videos I took of it. Try and lean back here. Every time I review the footage, I'm all up on it like this. Kind of try and get you a shot from my point of view. We started in February working on this thing, and as you can see now, it's not February, it is fall. So not an entire year of working on this thing, but definitely not what I thought it was going to be originally. Originally when this started out, I thought, oh yeah, we'll do some little fixing up, you know, we'll throw a starter on it, we'll fix the ignition system, before you know it, we'll be running, and we were, but then obviously we had issues with the head gasket, Then once I took the head gasket on, we found out all kinds of other things. Probably, of all the tractors I've done, this one I would say it fooled me the most. As far as thinking I had a good engine and wasn't going to need to spend all that much money, and ended up dumping pretty much close to a fortune in it. But all said and done, I've got the tractor I want, so no going back now. Get over here to the driveway and we'll kick the Sherman up into high gear so you can see that. Definitely happy with the performance. Like I said, you can see she burns clean. Unlike the other tractor I've got, she's going to be the next one. That blue tractor is going to be in need of a rebuild here soon. She burns oil pretty good when you give her any kind of gas. Put her down in low gear. In fact, we'll do a low speed test, which I haven't done yet. So we'll put her in first gear, straight to idle. And that's with the combo transmission in low gear, which dramatically slows the tractor down. These things are pretty much notorious for being pretty fast in first gear and reverse, which it really is when it helps out the most. It gets reversed down to a pretty slow, manageable speed if you're backing up to like an implement or something. So definitely a nice, if you've got a Sherman in one of these, definitely a nice addition. Well, I'm gonna go park this thing. I've got a little bit of math to do, and in the next couple of clips here, you should see me doing some things with those tanks. Let's see if we can make her swim.